Hey, how are you? Welcome back to Scared of Beautiful. I went and got some water and I am back recording for the SWV and Escape show. You all, I am so excited for this show. And I said I'm back recording because I also just finished recording my thoughts on Real Housewives of Potomac, the reunion part 3. So if you missed that, go back and check it out. Like, what are we doing? If you are new here, thank you for checking me out. This is Scared of Beautiful. I am Plez, your resident host. And if you are one of my faithful subscribers, my beauties and bows, I love you. Thank you all for your support, for being here for me. When I post, when I don't post, for checking in and like, girl, what are you doing? It's time to get back on it. I really do thank you all for your support. Now, like I said, this will be the review for the first episode of the SWV and Xscape Queens of R&B show that is coming on Bravo Television and is produced by Mona Scott Young's production company. I want to just say quickly that was very interesting to me because I don't know if my Scott Young had like an exclusionary type contract with VH1 or if she's just branching out, supporting Candy. Either way, I love it. I live for all things 90s, 80s baby here. 90s raised me. So I am really going through this period of nostalgia where, as we start to get a little bit older, I'm definitely in that period of the new music sucks and all I ever want to listen to is my old stuff that I grew up on and things that I make playlists of. If you all have followed me for a minute, I used to do these sing-along Sundays over on Instagram where I would sing all types of songs, but lots of 90s selections. Y'all, social media, Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, all of these places are really cracking down, particularly where music is concerned. So I haven't been doing that anyway. I'm completely off topic. But if you don't follow my Instagram, scared period of period beautiful, go over there and do that as well, please. And I've got to figure out a better way to have fun again on Instagram because they kept hating on me and sending me reports. So all of that to say, y'all, I love 90s R&B. Top tier. 5 stars. Number 1. I can probably sing almost every song that was created. I was in my phase, like lots of people were, where I would get lots of cassettes. Some of you all don't know what cassettes are, and CDs. Some of you don't know what CDs are. From Columbia House for the low, low price of $1. Don't judge me. I was like 10, 11, 12, and they kept sending this stuff to my house. So, of course, allegedly, I would make up names. Someone would make up names. Not me, of course. Hey, love. And I would get all of this free music. The 90s, they were a time. Anyway, y'all, let's get into this show. They start off with some Xscape history. They started in 1999, met in high school. They were singing in church and entertaining the people on the streets. They later broke up in 1999, as a lot of girl groups do, a lot of groups in general. We're not just going to lay this at the feet of the women. Groups in general are very hard to keep together in the music industry for lots of reasons. They had 3 platinum albums and they reunited in 2017 after someone, we're not going to say who, but we will say that he's one of those executive producers that likes to be.
Any artists out there want to be an artist and want to stay a star and don't have to worry about the executive producer trying to be all in the videos.
Yes, an executive producer that tries to be all up in the videos, allegedly tried to steal the life story of Xscape, Kandi Burruss, the group. And Kandi, being the shrewd businesswoman that she is, said, not here, not today, no ma'am, Pam. She stopped that and she's like, let's put some of this old stuff to rest. Let's get our group back together. If anyone is going to profit off of Xscape, it will be Xscape. So I'm here for it. I love Xscape. If we were battling, these ladies did a versus. They talk about it in a minute. Y'all, I have to admit, I am partial to Xscape. But let's just run down some SWV stats. They started in, I think, either 92 or 91, broke up in 1998, had 2 platinum albums, and they allegedly broke up because Coco wanted to go solo. They got back together in 2012 and have been touring the world, not just the States. They are, in Kandi Burruss fashion, worldwide. They've been touring the world. And I love SWV as well. You can't think about 90s R&B without singing Weak. Like, Weak by SWV was such a big hit. It also holds a special place in my heart because the video featured Garfield, who was a member of a male R&B group of the 90s, Shy. And Garfield was just so tall and handsome and the curly hair. I must admit, I'm partial to the chocolate, but Garfield had 9-10-year-old players in a trance. So that for that reason alone, SWV will always have a spot in my heart with Weak. However, as we said in those stats, Xscape had 3 platinum albums. They have the hits, honey. They sing better, in my opinion, cohesively, more as a more cohesive unit. You have more people in the group who actually have voices that can carry more songs. SWV was just kind of always about Coco. And so I like that you can take turns with the lead a bit more in Xscape. Anyway, y'all, they talk about how they were approached to do a versus back in 2021. It was a great versus. If you haven't seen it, go watch the reruns or something on YouTube. Top tier. A Kandi and Tiny are then together playing some of their old songs. When the group broke up, Kandi and Tiny formed a duo. They also started songwriting where we got hits from TLC, No Scrubs. Kandi also wrote, and I think Tiny as well, Destiny's Child, Bills, 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 Can You Pay My Bills? Can you pay my telephone bills? All of that. So they are responsible for a lot of our soundtrack in the 90s. Tamika comes in with the ladies and is like, I introduced you all to my sister Tasha. So it seems we'll get to that, but it seems like Kandi and Tiny and then Tamika were always more of a cohesive unit than Tasha. Next, the producer in the confessional, messy per usual, brings up Tamika's rumors about Kandi, where she stated in a radio interview that Kandi allegedly messed up the group by having relations with Jermaine Dupri, JD, the founder of So So Def, and all of So So Def as a record label, and Jermaine Dupri's daddy. That's a lot, allegedly, but Kandi is adamant that none of that happened. Well, specifically the part about JD's daddy. So they were in a fight about that for a very long time. They've put that behind them, and Tamika's going to leave that in the past. Tasha is mad over a dispute where allegedly after a show where they did, I think it was Rolling Loud, but they did a festival back in 2022 where Tamika was locked out of the dressing room and could not get back in her dressing room because her sister Tasha left the building, left the festival, and was gone about her business. So because Tamika was so angry, she sent a group text and was just like, whoever kicked us out, locked us out of our dressing rooms can kiss my ass. Tasha quips back and is like, what are you talking about? Kiss your ass. It's like, basically, who you talking to, sis? And Tamika said, girl, if you had a ass to kiss, clearly I'm not talking to you. So Tasha says that because she said, I don't have, y'all, these are basic words. You've heard it. It's in the Bible. Tasha basically is saying she was body shamed by Tamika saying she didn't have an ass for her to kiss. We'll get to it later. I never want to discount someone's experience or their perspective. But I must say that society as a whole is becoming very sensitive to everything. And then instead of it just being two people having a disagreement, everything is labeled these very broad terms that, in my opinion, are somewhat inflammatory. Two sisters fighting and arguing, in my opinion, does not equal being body shamed. However, I will not discount Tasha's feelings. If that's how she feels, that's how she feels. But I would just like Tasha, at this age, all of these ladies are in their 40s, mid 40s, late 40s, 50s. In terms of, I think some of SWV's members are in their 50s. I want us to be quicker on our feet. That's what I want for the girls. Somebody comes at you, come at them back, sister or not. If my sister was Tamika and she said, if you had an ass to kiss, I would kiss it, I would say, girl, I can't get one because you bought it all. Real quick, you got to learn how to put these people in their place. Mama, sister, auntie, cousin, uncle, granddaddy. I believe in the don't start none, won't beat none ministry. So I will respect my family members, friends, elders, whatever you want to call them at all times. But when you try me, and I'm a person who believes in grace, so I may let it slide a couple of times, but you're not going to keep on. And at this age, you tell me if I had some ass, I would kiss it. I would tell you, no, I don't have any because you went to Dr. Miami, Dr. Curves, whatever doctor you went to, sis, and bought it all up. They ran out. Because if you see what Tamika is packing back there, and it's not God-given, honey, she definitely heavily invested in some ass. So, Tasha, you've been with this girl your whole life. You don't know how to read your sister? Okay, girl, bye. Next, SWV is still, they show them actively touring the world, 50 to 100 shows per year. That's coin. Can't get mad at that. Taj says she can't dance like we used to. Girl, I am here. I understand. A few years ago, I tried to do the busted challenge. When we were locked up for COVID, there's all these challenges going on, so many things. And in my head, I thought I was still young. Thought my knees were like Megan, and apparently they weren't. And busted is what I exactly did. So I can attest to the knees not kneeing like they used to. SWV's manager brings up this joint show with Xscape. That's how they introduce it to SWV. Coco says that she's down for it, but her facial expressions and her tone says everything else. This is going to be a battle of egos. We can clearly see it already, and I can't say I'm here for it. You have to learn how to be secure in yourself. You also have to learn that stuff ain't that serious. It's really just not. Quit taking yourself so seriously. Because if you all, any of you all, could have a truly, truly, truly successful solo career, it would have happened by now. The people have spoken, and we prefer you together as a group. That's it. That's all. The next few segments, we see everybody in there, most of the ladies, especially the Xscape side, in their family units, which was really good in my opinion. I like seeing that side of people, not just about the business. Let's see these ladies as the whole people that they are. So we see Tasha. We introduced to her husband Rocky and her son Jamon. I'll have to go back on that pronunciation. But Rocky is her husband, has been for over 20 years. She kind of is not sure whether or not she wants to share with us that he used to work with R. Kelly. Tasha says back in the day when they got together, she broke up with her boyfriend for Rocky, but that Rocky is the one who really applied pressure to the boyfriend in the studio, was like, that's mine, just to put you on notice. You can go on about your business. It is what it is. Sounds like the gentleman worked that out, and it was, I'm sure, especially at such a young age, that was a turn on for her. Um, Rocky gives me a little bit of controlling vibes, but if she likes it, I love it. Go on about your business, girl. Make that do what it do. Tasha says that she cannot be off balanced and she can't do any negativity. She doesn't see how the group is going to move forward when she and her sister are not in a good place. I agree. But that also means someone has to back down. Someone has to compromise, or both of you all have to compromise. Both of you have to be willing to overlook some stuff. In life, you have to learn how to overlook things. And I say this as a person who had to grow and learn and get there. Younger sisters, if y'all are watching, get these lessons earlier. Don't be this age still fighting over petty stuff. Next, we see Tiny with her family. Y'all, I used to always watch T.I.'s and Tiny shows back in the day, their family hustle or whatever. I cannot believe that Major is 14. I've always loved Major. He's the cutest, smartest, probably the most level-headed one in that family. Those older boys are pretty good too. T.I.'s older children, just in general, because Deja has a solid head on her shoulders. But I have a special place in my heart for little Major. I remember when the sister was still teaching Major, like his little numbers and letters and how to read. I just was shocked. Anyway, they have 7 kids all together, 4 are grown, and little Miss Eris is running the house and the show per usual. T.I. and Tiny have been together for 21 years, and T.I. still doesn't like her working. I really want people to grow, but I know at this point in my life that some people just are not capable of that. Ever since we were introduced to T.I. and Tiny on a reality show level, which was for me the show back when Tiny was with Toya, and I think at that point Tip was either in jail or about to go to jail, and he was still very adamant that he wanted Tiny basically locked up in that house. Now I somewhat agree, or if they agree, when the children are small before they get into school. But once those children are off in at kindergarten, and you out here, gallivanting the world, making your music, or you're in jail, allegedly also having your side relationships, whatever that man does, she can work. She has goals, dreams, wishes as well, which she supported you all, and both of you all have admitted this, with her money and her songwriting credits when you all first got together, before you became Tip, TIP, when you was just regular Clifford. So I'm over him. But if, she keeps staying, so it don't matter what I think. Next, we see Tamika and her husband, Darnell. They have 3 children. Her husband does security for New Edition. They met on a Tyler Perry production, and she kept calling him executive protection. So he's executive protection for New Edition, executive protection for Tyler Perry. I love how people just make these fancy titles. The man's a bodyguard. And don't crap on bodyguards, because I recently rewatched Kevin Costner and Whitney Houston. It's a beautiful story. Bodyguard says it so much better than executive protection. That man ain't sitting in nobody's office, ma'am. He's not an exec. He's a bodyguard, and looks to be a very good one if he was with Tyler Perry and now is with New Edition. Those people stay on the road, stay with a coin and a contract. So job security, sis. I like him. Tamika says she seduced him by going to the bathroom at his house and coming out in just a thong and bra. Get it how you live, girl. Secure that bag by any means necessary. Taj then sets up a brunch for the ladies. Taj is in SWV. We all know that. To talk about this possible tour, Candy says that she and Tasha are like oil and water. They have never gotten along since the beginning. And she's used to getting the cold shoulder from Tasha regularly. Tasha barely greets Tamika when she walks into the brunch, gives her the cold shoulder, her own sister. Then the ladies start talking about, if they do this show, how they want the production of the show to go. Tamika has really thought about this, y'all, and I love it. I love the excess. I love someone who has big dreams, big goals. She wants to share the band, the dancers, the DJ. Coco disagrees, but I do think they won't have that much time, I don't think, to move in between sets. So I can see financially why that makes sense. Also for the continuity of the show, why that would make sense. Tamika wants a full-on production, variety show style. I like it. I like a good variety show. Taj notices Tasha's stank face. Like, Tasha was over there twisting her face, giving resting bitch face, not so resting bitch face the whole time. And Tasha's like, what's going on? Tasha says she's not excited. She's very straight up and blunt with it. I appreciate that. Xscape has some internal issues that they need to work on before any of this can move forward. Taj encourages them to focus on the big picture. They're like, look, at SWV, you always have issues with ladies. Sometimes we don't talk to each other, but we go on the stage and we get this bag. And clearly, if they've been touring since 2012, 50 to 100 shows a year, it must work. Sometimes you put things to the side to say, we're going for the bigger picture. Tasha says she needs peace and communication. Coco says, again, we don't communicate either. Taj says that, we don't communicate all the time, but we have gotten to a stage in our lives where we also don't bicker back and forth. She implores that Xscape is too important to the culture and the fans. I'm a person who's very big on sometimes you need to do things for other people. However, I can see a little, poquito, where Tasha may feel ganged up on in this group situation. And that's it. Nowhere else. But I think a lot of that is her own doing. We'll get into more as the season progresses on some of the things that Tasha has allegedly done behind the scenes to the group members. But, she pushes back even more and says she may not want to tour. SWV tells them that they need to get it together for the business. Lily talks about how much, Lily preached a whole sermon, y'all. She talks about how much women will forgive men, boyfriends, husbands that cheat on them, degrade them, sometimes, abuse them physically. But when it comes to other women, they will hold grudges forever. And I agree. It's something as women that we should really work on. I'm not telling you to take back people who, one, you did not have a close relationship to begin with. But I do think sometimes friendships break apart for communication, because your lifestyle has changed. You may be single, the friend is now married, and we don't necessarily give our girlfriends the grace that we should. We definitely don't give as much grace as we do with the men folk. And that's something that definitely needs to be worked on. SWV shows how booked and busy they are because they hop on a plane to Africa. Taj is proud to say that this gig is for six plus figures. Get the bag, girl. Next, we see Candy at home with Todd and little Blaze and Ace. It was good to see them together. They're making homemade pizzas. Candy says that Todd is the boss in their relationship.
Right.
And that she lets him take the lead on most things. Okay, girl, whatever you say. Candy says that Tamika used to acquiesce to Tasha and her wishes when they were younger all of the time. Ty suggests that the group go to therapy. I am a fan of therapy. Go to therapy, ladies. A lot of times, and I don't mean this bootleg therapy that we're finna talk about in a minute, a third party who does not know any of you all, and I mean, if they're gonna be a black therapist, they likely will know SWV and or Xscape. However, not someone that knows you all personally, someone who can objectively look at the issues and help you get your ish together. So, good idea, Todd. I'm in full agreement. Tasha and Tamika then have a meeting at their mother's house. Tasha says that she calls her mother every year to say Happy Father's Day. Now, I know this is going to be very, not very controversial. I don't care. Leave it in the comments. I know some of you all won't agree. It ain't my mama, so I can't say. I will say in general, I don't like when that happens. Your mother is your mother. Your father, although he may have not been there, a woman can't be a man, no matter how much she tries. Single women, single ladies, we can get a good, solid male support system for our children. Uncles, granddads, cousins, your guy friends who you know are solid, their coaches, their teachers. I really encourage you all, if you are in this type of situation where the man isn't there who created the child for whatever reason, get a strong male figure, a few of them, to support your child. And that goes for both girls and boys. I hate when people are just like, boys need their fathers, girls need their fathers as well. And if her mother accepts that, great. I can't speak to their relationship, but just the premise in general, no, for me, it's a no. Tasha's mother is the one who sets up this meeting, and y'all, this show for me is already gonna go left because you can tell it's very heavily produced. The mother did not need to be there. The mother did not need to set up the meeting. Later on, based on how the meeting goes, the mother should not have set up the meeting. And honestly, this goes back to, if you've seen my opinions on Miss Wanda on Love and Marriage Huntsville, Mama Joyce, Candace's mama, I am not a fan of mothers who will not let their children grow up. I'm sorry. It may be, I love my mother dearly, but I was very clear on I am grown. And, the boundaries are there. It just looks crazy. Like, your mother is still refereeing you all's fights. It's not TV that I want to see. I want to see two women, two sisters, mend their relationship, because the mother is part of the problem, which we shall see. Tamika says that Tasha is her mother's favorite. And I guess to offset some of that, Tamika brings her grown daughter, Ocean, which even still, you're inviting you're including your daughter in you and your mama and your sister's family drama, which then puts her in an awkward place because this is her grandmother and her mother and her aunt who are fighting. It just reminds me of, all the crap that we already have to deal with for those of us who watch Real Housewives of New Jersey. Tamika, as soon as the meeting starts, gets chastised by the mother for sending a group text about Tasha leaving her locked in the dress out of the dressing room, excuse me. Tamika gets up to demonstrate how Tasha sashayed past her, calling her Beyonce. Don't do that, girl. With her entourage, her road manager, which I'm pretty sure is her husband, and left her and didn't say, hey, I'm leaving. Hey, we didn't leave the key or anything. So, yeah, I was mad. She left me and I was locked out of my room for hours. The mother says she should be ashamed of herself and she needs an Academy Award just because she got up and sashayed. Ma'am, no. You're already starting off wrong and biased. Ugh. Tasha says she was body shamed in that text because she said, if you had enough ass to kiss, I would kiss it. Talks about her pain in the industry. And so at this point, it's like, okay, I can't discount her feelings. However, one quote that I heard before, I read before, is make sure you heal yourself so that you don't bleed on people who didn't cut you or hurt you, right? Tamika is not responsible for Tasha's pain in the industry. Tasha talks about how she would get these backhanded or underhanded compliments when she would sing, and people would come and say, oh, that big girl can really sing. As someone who has been overweight pretty much their whole life, I understand how that can be a trigger. But one thing therapy will teach you and life will teach you, honestly, is that everyone else is not responsible for our triggers. Could Tamika have used a better phrase? Yes. But I don't think Tamika was intentionally trying to hurt her sister or body shame her sister. That's almost a reflexive answer in any community that I've been in growing up as an adult, as a professional. Kiss my ass. Ain't nothing back there to kick. You know what I'm saying? But I do understand, as an overweight person and a person in the Black community where it seems like big booties are, you know, it, it's what it is. It seems like that's what is most attractive to both men and women. And I think most people, you want to look proportionate, you want to have a nice body. But there becomes a certain point in life where you individually, internally, you have to make your own decisions and choices. Tasha has options. She can work out in the gym and through squats and other weightlifting exercises try to build a butt. She can go get butt shots or Brazilian butt lifts or whatever surgery is available. Or she can learn to, not internalize that type of stuff as much. People are stupid. People are ignorant. You have a husband, sis, that has been there for you for 20 some odd years. He clearly loves what he sees. You have to love what you see as well. And other than that, like I said before, get you some good comebacks. Once you check a person a couple of times, they know not to play with you. But honestly, it's just about getting thicker skin. But you can't place your trauma at the feet of other people all the time. I do believe it's important that she stated, you hurt me, this is why. But once someone apologizes for that or says, I didn't mean it like that, then especially if it's your blood sister, I think you have to work on trying to let that go. And unfortunately, I think this is going to drag all season. Tamika then starts talking about how her mother always has sided with Tasha throughout their years growing up. The mother was very quiet when Tasha said in their conversation, "We can't help that we are family." Both Tasha and the mother are like, "And you took offense to that?" So just like you don't understand why she could take offense to you saying we can't help that we're family, that's backhanded, sis. That says I'm stuck with you. So I gotta try to like you or love you when you should actually want to love your sister and want to have a closer relationship. So you all are mad over some of the same things. And in like you don't want to get dismissed, Tasha. You and your mother are dismissing Tamika in this moment. Um, the mother scoffs and says that should not have offended her. Tamika then really kind of ratchets up and says her mother is quick to jump on her when she is wrong. And we saw that from the beginning of this conversation, but stays quiet when Tasha does something wrong. Tasha's like, "So she's supposed to jump on me?" "Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. If you're wrong, your mother should check you and tell you that you're wrong as well, not just Tamika." She goes on to bring up when Tasha and Rocky allegedly stole money from her. She said that Tiny's mom told her, meaning Tamika, about a new royalty that the group was getting. And Tamika was like, "Who? What? Where? I don't have any money." "Who said that?" She hasn't seen any new royalty, hasn't received any checks. And when she checked into it, she realized that for whatever reason, which is very interesting to me, I want them to get more into this situation. I don't know if at one point Rocky was both of their manager. I just don't understand, even though they're blood sisters, why their checks would be coming either in both of their names or deposited into the same bank account that would even give Tasha and Rocky claim to, any type of ownership over that check to be able to cash it and misappropriate the funds. So she says when she checked into it, Tasha and Rocky had been receiving checks to the tune of $30,000. That's not chump change. And that they never shared any of these proceeds with Tamika. Tasha denies it, but she has this smirk on her face. She's sneaky. You can tell it's true. Something in the milk is not clean. And her mama then says she should be ashamed of herself. What should she be ashamed of? Because she shamed Tasha again in the public because those cameras are there. Girl, bye. And then she yells at production to tell them to stop recording or get out of her house. And that was the end of the episode. They're bickering and going back and forth. The mama is trying to shield the camera and get them to put her out. Y'all, when someone is trying to cut you off, when they do not want you to share your story, your perspective, your version of what happened to you, they are liars. They are manipulators. They are gaslighters. And I really feel bad for Tamika, seriously, because this girl has been getting gaslit by her mama and her sister her whole life. We saw it in real time. Well, not in real time. It wasn't live, but we saw it clearly on our screens. Um, Mama, Tasha, and Tamika, whatever her name is, because what's their last name? I can't think of it. Anyway, Tasha and Tamika's mama, no ma'am. We don't need her. Can you take her off the show, please? Unless they are willing to sit down with Iyanla, I don't want it. We have had enough of overbearing mamas. Can we just get the women together to discuss their issues like women, not your mama? Because it's going to constantly cause conflict. Always. I can already see it. The mother is Miss Wanda with a better wig. And I don't even know if, no, Miss Wanda's hair is better. I'm not even going to do Miss Wanda like that. Her hair is better. Yeah, no. I'm not here for the mother. but I am here for SWV and Xscape. So I hope you all enjoyed the review. I hope you all will subscribe to the channel, like the video, share it, and make sure that you come check me out next week because I will be back. Talk to you guys next time. Bye.